Hello and welcome from Hancock Whitney Stadium, Mobile, Alabama. It is day 2 is over at the 2025 Reese Senior Bowl practices. I am Brian Bosarge along with Brian Lamb. We are back here again today recapping the day's action, and it was hot out here today, Brian, considerably speaking. It was 70-plus degrees today, sun shining all day. You got to love it for January weather after, last week here on the Gulf Coast.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think, most of the Southeast battled with snow last week, and started with jacket this morning, and now back into my shirt.
Yep, I just came bare sleeving all day today. I knew what was coming. So we're going to start with the national team practice. Myself, personally, I kind of more focused on the big guys today, the offensive, defensive line. I always like to do that on Wednesday practices, and a couple of guys on that national team that stood out to me was it Greg Zabel? Gray Zabel, not Greg Zabel. Gray Zabel, offensive tackle, guard, center from North Dakota State. Jack of all trades, probably going to end up in the top 50, I'd say, at this point. He's had a hell of a first 2 days, and that continued today as well. Tell you a guy who really struggled today, who I know came in with a considerable amount of hype this week, was Oregon's offensive tackle Josh Connerly Jr. I saw some first-round hype going on here. Didn't see a whole lot out of him yesterday, but today, struggle bus city for Connerly.
Just got walked back quite a bit in one-on-ones. Really struggled.
And one of those one-on-ones, and if you've been on Twitter today, I'm quite sure you saw it, where Marshall defensive edge rusher Mike Green just straight took his lunch, run him straight over, talked shit to him on the way over, and kept going. Hilarious rep, but Mike Green has had a pretty good first 2 days here. I'd say he showed more than enough that all those sacks he put up this year at Marshall were well earned, and he's had a day.
He's legit. I think all of these edge rushers are. Landon Jackson, I thought, had a solid day. He's really kind of shown himself as one of the leaders on defense, really hyping guys up. As well as Donovan Ezeruwaku.
Let's go with that. From Boston College. Yeah, another big sack number guy this year, 16 and a half, right?
Yeah.
At BC, one of the nation's leaders, along with Mike Green and Kyle Kennard, who's here from South Carolina, all at the top of the sack charts this year. But yeah, Big E from BC had a good day today. Great, he got one of the best reps I saw today. Just dipped right on under. I can't remember the tackle he beat on that play, but it was one of the better reps in the one-on-ones today. One of the defensive linemen I want to highlight here, and we keep killing ourselves with these names, but UCLA edge rusher Olufemi Oladejo, big 99. He had a hell of a good couple of reps today, and he also looked well in the team drills.
Yeah, I think early in that first practice for the national team, that defense just stood out. and it just feels like they've just had their way with offensive linemen now through 2 practices.
Yeah. A name that's kind of made some headway in the first couple of days as well that I wasn't familiar with his game, if you will. Minnesota's Ja Joyner. I thought had a pretty good couple of days as well. Interior offensive lineman, I think, made some money these first 2 days. Jalen Rivers from Miami.
Yeah.
He has really stood out on that interior of the national team offensive line. Consistently winning his reps in the team drills and in the one-on-ones.
Yeah.
And a guy who has not. Let's just 2 days. This has been some of the worst 2 days of offensive line tape I think I've seen from Southern Cal's Jonah Monheim.
Yeah.
I was sitting with Jeff Risen from DraftWire and Detroit Lions podcast today, and he said he was almost tempted to drop a round grade on anybody who lost a rep to Monheim. He's been that bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's just across the board bad. I mean, he has struggled from the get-go, and I don't see a way that he's going to be able to.
I don't see a draftable player with Monheim. A guy who is going to get drafted high, I think, is Purdue offensive tackle Marcus Mbo. Thought he's had a good first couple of days, and Josh Farmer, the Florida State defensive tackle.
Yep.
I thought it stood out today as well. And quickly, Jalen Travis, Iowa State, thought it's also showed himself well. The Princeton transfer.
Yeah.
Let's flip it over to let's talk some quarterbacks on this national team quickly. Yesterday to today, did anybody get better for you?
I think Taylor Elgersma's gotten more reps. He looks more comfortable operating the offense. Earlier, I compared him to Tulane quarterback Michael Pratt, who was here last year. I think he went to the Packers. A quarterback that just didn't have a high arc on his throws, and that's really what we're seeing from Elgersma. And that's I watched his college film last night. And that's really what you saw on film too. Is he just doesn't lay balls in. I want to see more from him, but I think that he's showing some improvement.
Yeah, the touch is not there at all from Elgersma. He had back-to-back reps in 7-on-7, which if anybody's ever seen 7-on-7, it's kind of hard to throw interceptions in that drill. And he threw 2 on back-to-back plays, one to Cody Lindenberg, the Minnesota linebacker, and the Toledo safety, Maxon Hook. Picked him off back-to-back reps in 7-on-7. He's got some issues. That's for sure. But he's got another day of practice, and he'll have the game on Saturday. But he's looking more like CFL than NFL to me through 2 days.
Yeah, I mean, I talked to his offensive coordinator and head coach last night, and he's only played American football for 3 weeks. Total football, 6 years. So I think some of these struggles are going to happen, and they've got to work them out. But also at a point, you gotta turn that corner and show improvement, and that's going to be on him to do here tomorrow.
A couple of linebackers I thought had some good reps today that I saw. Oregon's Jeffrey Basa. I thought he had some solid reps. And Oak State linebacker Nick Martin stood out in a couple reps today.
Nicholas Martin had a couple really good reps.
Yeah.
And really I think is kind of leading that national team linebackers.
Yep. Another, maybe the best player on the national team. I don't think I'm speaking out of turn when I say Quincy Riley, the cornerback from Louisville, is the best player on the national team.
He's certainly in that conversation. I maybe go to the other side of the field and go with Jalen Noel, wide receiver out of Iowa State. But I really want to see those two battle here tomorrow.
Did we get any one-on-one reps with those guys today?
I don't know if we did or not.
We'll have to go to the film tonight and check that out for sure. But you spotlighted Jalen Noel as a guy that stood out to you. You also want to talk about the edge rusher from FCS Central Arkansas, David Walker.
he had some really good reps over here and one-on-ones. Just kind of showcase what he can do. Smaller school guy going up against some of these offensive tackles that you mentioned they've struggled. The offensive tackles have, but he's still showcasing what he can do, and I think it's worth noting.
One other receiver I want to talk about because he's been one of the fastest guys here in practice. Kyle Williams, Washington State. He was a late add to the game, but he has really stood out in these 2 days of practice.
Yeah. I mean, just somebody that can separate. Yesterday we talked about that lack of separation, and today we come back, and it's just a completely different.
It's been better, a whole lot better today. One running back that looked awesome running routes. His route running was great, hands great. LaQuint Allen, Syracuse, I thought had a great day today for the national team.
Yeah, another one that I would mention is Ollie Gordon.
Yep.
I had a really high grade on him coming into the year.
Struggled this year.
They struggled.
The whole team struggled.
The whole team did. But coming out here, I mean, he's had energy. He's been able to break off a couple runs. Has looked great in the passing game as well, running routes, and somebody that I think that we can talk about.
All right, let's flip it over the afternoon practice session here, the American team, and a couple injury notes we've had here with this team today. We talked about him yesterday having a standout practice, but it appears that Tennessee defensive tackle Omar Norman Lott, done for the week, appeared to hurt his ankle yesterday in practice. Was not, well, I say he's done for the week, was definitely not out here today, and that generally means done for the week in Senior Bowl terms. So that kind of sucks. We speculated that Florida defensive tackle Cameron Jackson would be out because he was wearing sweatpants. It's generally the sign, right?
It is.
But I'll be damned if he wasn't out here going full one-on-one drills and in-team drills and giving it everything. You could tell he looks a little gimpy when he was coming off the field. But, man, if he doesn't practice again this week, man, I applaud that effort for coming out here and giving it everything he could today.
Well, it's just something rare to see a guy in sweatpants still competing out here. So give him credit for doing that.
Yep. And he did well.
He did really well. I mean, he made a big play in 11-on-11 and stopped the run. And I mean, just give him credit for being able to do what he's doing for whatever he's battling.
Yep. One guy I might be surprised if he does make it back out here this week is Trey Amos, the corner from Ole Miss. Transfer from Alabama. He hobbled back to the locker room on his own power, but he left in the middle of practice, did not return. So that's generally a sign that we might not see him again the rest of the week. Yeah,
and as we've talked about, the Senior Bowl did a really good job of kind of inflating that roster ahead of time to be able to prepare for injuries. So I think we'll be okay for the game on Saturday, but that is a talent that they're losing there, and somebody that I was looking forward to watching.
He's another one of those guys that his versatility is key. Can play corner, I think, can play safety, could play nickel. So he's a guy that is going to be missed. I watched a little bit of the pit drills down there with the offense-defense line today, and I don't know if we talked about him. We did briefly talk about him yesterday, but Jackson Slater from Sac State had another great day today.
Yeah.
Just tremendous in the one-on-one drills, holds his ground. Fabulous player. And, again, Willie Lampkin, the diminutive one himself, 5'10", 270. Saw Joe Goodberry tweet the other day. He's going to be the best blocking tight end in the league. When he gets in, because I just, as much as I want to see him get a shot, NFL coaches are some stubborn sons of bitches, and it's just going to be hard pressed for me to think that a 5'10", 270 guard's going to get a shot in the NFL.
I mean, I think they're taking a long, hard look at him here, and he's been able to hold his own.
Yes.
He hasn't given up a lot of pressures. He hasn't fallen.
Just so technically sound.
He is. I mean, I don't know, Brian. Like they've got to.
I'm pulling for him at this point.
There's got to be a discussion going on.
I want to see it.
Yeah.
He got a lot of tackle work yesterday, but I think his natural position is going to be guard at the next level. But Arizona's Jonah Savaia Naia, Arizona, he looked much more comfortable on the inside today than he did yesterday on the outside.
Yeah, I marked him up as a guard, somebody that can play tackle if he needs to.
Yeah.
More or less just a versatile offensive lineman that's going to be able to kind of give the offensive coordinator a little flexibility there, some flexibility on the offensive line. But somebody that is sound there.
Yep. Speaking of flexible offensive linemen, I thought a much better day today than yesterday from LSU's Emory Jones, a guy who I think most of us are going to project him outside, and he had a good day there on the outside today. But I think another one that he could move inside if need be.
Yeah. Also, real quick, I know we didn't talk about this, but another one is Carson Vincent.
Yes.
At Alabama A&M.
I'm glad you brought that up. I meant to write that down.
I think he's just had HBCU guy, but I think he's just had a tremendous week here. And the Senior Bowl always does a great job of giving those guys an opportunity to come out here and compete. And he has not given that up.
He has done a tremendous job. He's been, almost every rep's been at left tackle, and he has done a damn good job in every one-on-one rep he's done. Carson Vincent, I don't know where he's going to settle out when the final grades come out, but he has definitely put his name in the minds of many this week.
Yeah.
Kyle Kennard, South Carolina, down in the edge rusher there, I thought looked good in the one-on-ones today. Good inside spin move on one rep, kind of bull rushed on another. But he was one of the ones that Carson Vincent locked up and didn't. But when he tried to beat him to the outside, Carson Vincent just kind of rode him on out. But the other reps I saw Kennard really good today. We can't not talk about Texas A&M's Shamar Stewart.
Yeah. I mean, when I scouted him earlier this year, I think I have a 3rd round grade on him. I may have to go back and watch more of his film after this week because he has just been able just to pop on film and out here in practice. And I mean, he had just a tremendous rep off the edge here earlier and backed it up, I think, with another rush off the edge the next play. So he's been quite well.
Yep. Who else did I have here?
Let me go with another edge rusher.
Okay.
Baron Sorrell out of Texas. We talked about him yesterday. And he's made a couple plays here today too.
Yep.
So really showing that consistency and somebody that is probably rising up for us.
And the only Texas guy that bothered to show up this week.
Yeah.
So good on him. Deion Walker, Kentucky, another big day for the biggest guy here.
Yep.
I was talking. That was another conversation I had with Jeff Risden. We were talking about the Bengals. Bengals picked 17. I said I can talk myself into Deion Walker at the 17th pick. I wouldn't be happy with the value, but I could talk myself into it at the 17th pick. I think he's going to go in the 20 to 25 range in the first round at this point. I think Walker's in the first round of the 2025 NFL draft.
Yeah, he's my 3rd defensive tackle on the board. I think I have him at 20 or just under 20. I really like him. I really like his film.
I mean, he's at 340. You don't expect him to be able to rush the passer like he can, but he does.
Yeah.
Receivers today, we got to talk about Jack Besh, TCU.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's playing this week with a heavy heart. His brother was one of the ones tragically killed in the terrorist attack in New Orleans a few weeks ago. But he has made some great plays on the ball with the ball in the air today. One on an underthrow from the quarterback we're going to get to in just a second. But Besh, I thought has had a really good day today. Any of the other wide receivers that caught your eye?
Not really a wide receiver. I mean, there's a tight end. You want to talk about?
Yeah, we can talk about the tight end you want to talk about.
It's Jake Brenningstool out of Clemson. Man, I watched his film in preparation for the Senior Bowl, and I love his film. He's like that tight end 5, maybe tight end 6 on the board. But I thought he's come out here this week and just made some really good plays. Has been able to separate from the linebackers. Has run some good routes downfield. I think really showing off his receiving ability, and somebody that we're talking about.
And Georgia wide receiver Arian Smith dropped a wide open pass down the field on air. That's always fun. Well, guys, we'll talk about the elephant in the room, if you will. This was not, for the second straight day, not what you'd call a banner day for Alabama quarterback Jalen Milroe.
No. I mean, continues just to come out and underperform. Yes. I think is the nicest way to put it.
That's a nice way. His short to intermediate accuracy, it's awful.
Yeah.
It has just been awful these first 2 days. There's no sugarcoating it.
Give him credit. That downfield pass to the corner.
Awesome. A deep ball accuracy is not an issue for Jalen Milroe. Ability. Am I crazy to think that Saturday, during however many reps he takes in the game, he's going to look a lot better?
I think he will. Yeah.
Than what he's looked in practice.
Yeah.
But the short game, and which is, would you dare say, 90% of NFL offenses operate in that 0 to 20 yard range?
Yeah.
And that is what he's struggling with right now. I'm fading here.
To start practice today, he the quarterbacks and wide receivers were just running some angle routes, which is like a 5-yard route into the flat, and he missed his running back by 5 yards.
It wasn't good. It was you called it Joe Milton-esque.
Yeah,
it wasn't good. We watched Joe Milton hit some grounders to shortstop last year in practice and during the game. And it was very reminiscent of that. Not good. A couple other players we're going to touch on because I'm not. You talked about a Clemson player, so therefore I have to instinctually talk about one more South Carolina player. Linebacker Demetrius Knight. He has struggled in pass coverage.
Yeah,
that ain't his game.
Yeah.
But chasing attack, that man's a stud.
Yeah,
he laid a running back out. I can't remember which one it was. Probably shouldn't hit him that hard in practice. We're going to be honest, but he laid that dude out in the hole. Demetrius Knight is a two-down special team. He's a two-down backer, I think, in the NFL. Run and chase, sideline to sideline. He's there. Don't ask him to carry the tight end. He'll be fine. And put him on your core special team, your 4 special teams units. You're going to get a fourth round. Demetrius Knight is there.
Yeah.
And a guy that was nowhere near my radar before this week has really emerged to me. I think he could be a very good nickel in the NFL or even a smaller free safety, but I think nickel's where he's going to make that money. Billy Bowman, Oklahoma.
Yeah, to start practice, he took it from the coaches. They were lighting him up, and you could hear it from here. We can't repeat what they were saying, but you could hear it. But in the middle of practice, towards the end of practice, he really came back and just rep after rep after rep was showing consistent improvement. And the coaches, celebrated him for it and gave him his props. And
that's really what you all you can ask for.
That's what this week is about.
Yep, get better every day. Last guy I'm going to talk about, and I'll let you talk about anybody else you want to. Best route running tight end here is Mason Taylor from LSU.
Yeah,
he's excellent. He's a technician. He's great. He can block. I'm going to be around higher probably than everybody else on Mason Taylor. I've seen some with 3rd and 4th round grades on him. I'm going to have him a 2nd round grade, I think, when it's all said and done for me. Anybody else for you?
Let's talk about these running backs with like Devin Neal.
Yes,
on the American team,
and Bosarge Smith, SMU. I think those have been the best 2 running backs on that American team. But start with Devin Neal.
Well, last year we had some of these running backs that really just popped early and showcased it. And I mean, they were the stars on Tuesday and Wednesday. This year, kind of started a little slower, but I think Devin Neal's really one of those guys, and has looked well. So I just think that we're seeing consistent improvement. We saw it with the wide receivers separating, and now we're seeing it with these running backs kind of being able to break off a couple of these runs, and even in the passing game too, have just been able to showcase what they can do.
Yep, that's a really thing. I think Rashard Smith's undersized, but you can tell he's a former wide receiver.
Yeah,
the way he carries himself in the routes and catches the ball. He beat I can't remember who he beat, but he just beat him bad on a go route or a wheel route down the sideline. It was beautiful. Yep, so that's about it for me. Upton Stout, Western Kentucky corner. I saw him in the film yesterday. I didn't see much of him today. I didn't really watch, but I thought he had a great day yesterday, and the guy I knew absolutely nothing about coming into this week.
Yeah.
All right, so that's going to do it. Day 2, practice at the 2025 Reese's Senior Bowl. Me and Brian are going to head down to the media day, and I don't know, probably not do a whole lot of anything, to be honest.
Some shrimp and
grits or something. We're going to go down there and just see what we can do. But we will be back here after practice concludes tomorrow, and we'll wrap up the week of practice at that point with one more video, and then back for the game on Saturday. We'll wrap it up there as well. But it's been a fun day, good day. Hoping for more beautiful weather to carry the week. Expecting it tomorrow. So till next time, for Brian, I'm Brian, and we'll see you tomorrow.